Hello friends! Now we are going to get to know this platform. Of course, Solana, this cryptocurrency is well known. Of course, it says here, the capital market for every asset on Earth. Here we find that Solana is a leading high-performance network that supports online capital markets, payments and applications, and cryptocurrencies. From here, you can get started. Of course, we will explore the entire website, so stay with me. Of course, my friends, we also see here meet Solana in real life, which means you can actually meet Solana in real life. There are many things, as you can see with me. So, of course, my friends, it says here the fastest growing and most dynamic financial platform. The #1 platform for startups and institutions with the largest number of users and the largest number of developers, and the highest trading activity and the highest real transaction rate per second. As you can see here with me, my friends, we can see the transactions. And here, of course, is the number of transactions per second, as you can see in this section. So, my friends, let's now look at something else. Here we find that there are 5 million active addresses monthly. And here that means 3.5 billion monthly transactions. Here, my friends, it's $3.3 trillion in trading volume. And here, $3.4 billion, as you can see with me. And of course, my friends, I'm not giving any investment advice. We are just getting to know this currency. Here it says what's happening now. Of course, you can view the details and see what's happening now. Here we see, everyone. Of course, centralized finance, like DeFi, as you can see with me. We also see the consumer, the developers, and also the institutions, as you can see with me in the ecosystem. Of course, you can read this information because it will be useful. So of course, my friends, here it tells you about the biggest technology companies and institutions. It says that they are built on the Solana financial platform in the world. And here we see Union. As you can see, my friends, we see Visa, PayPal, and many other platforms. Here you can follow the news related to Solana. Of course, here we find, for example, it says that today Wisdom Tree is offering its full suite of licensed, regulated funds on the Solana platform. Now, institutional investors and individuals can access money markets, stocks, income, and so on. Of course, there are many pages. You can read all of this right here. Of course, the informative blog posts are naturally quite useful. Here it tells you the intricate process of how we built this platform from the ground up. It talks in depth about complex global financial markets and so on. Here, of course, you can also watch the fascinating and complete story of the Solana ecosystem. And here, behind the mask, with Profit, as you can see with me, and there are many, many videos, my friends. Here, of course, it says we build side by side, meaning we build side by side with our global community. It tells you, it says, whether you are a builder, a creator, an auditor, or a supporter, there is a place to help. There is a place for you to help. Of course, my friends, here we see network validation. It tells you to run the verification process to help maintain the speed and security of the network for everyone. Here it means security through staking. It says to stake Solana tokens and so on. Here it tells you to create an application. Here it means contributing through programming. Here it means tokenizing an asset. Here, my friends, we find their accounts on social media platforms. Here as well, we have many things, as you can see with me, my friends. Of course, this section is dedicated to learning, as you can see. Here, my friends, it's about wallets, meaning a gateway to the markets. Here is an introduction to centralized finance on the Solana platform. Here is the university programming, and so on. So, of course, my friends, I'm sharing everything with you so you can understand it. And here, my friends, are the developers. This section is dedicated to developers, as you can see, my friends. And here as well, we find solutions. The platform offers you solutions, meaning tools, use cases, and resources. Then here, my friends, we find the network. Of course, it tells you to become a validator, meaning a provider for RPC, network status, as well as the on-ramps and off-ramps, as you can see. Of course, as you can see, my friends, this section is dedicated to the community. Here we find the news, and here are the events. Of course, my friends, this is where the events and many other things are found. So as you can see, my friends, we've gotten to know many things about the Solana platform. From here, if you have any questions, you can naturally ask them here. So, for example, my friends, we can ask them about the Solana token. And of course, they will answer using artificial intelligence. And as you can see with me, my friends, you can try this out for yourselves. And now we've reached the end of the episode. I say goodbye to you. We'll meet in the next episode.